That was one of the beautiful things about Warzone 1 was there was none of that bullshit. There was no downtime. There was no like, oh, I need to put my attachments on my gun like I'm playing Apex Legends. I'm here to shoot people. I'm not here to count how many field upgrades I can stuff inside of my ass. I want to just kill a guy, run over him. I have everything I can possibly carry. I don't have to think about it. I don't have to have a big brain to make big brain plays, and I can go on my merry way. We are live! Boys and girls, welcome to the Dropshot Call of Duty Podcast, episode number 441.
Yeah.
My name is Casey, also known as Razinon. Today, I'm joined by Tanner, and we have an episode for you. So, before we get started, there are announcements. I will be going over them. We will be going over them at the end of the episode. But as a little preview, thank you to all of our new patrons in the last 2 weeks. We've got quite a few. We will thank all of you at the end of the show here. And we also got a considerable amount of donations for
we got them out.
My considerable medical deductible that I'm going to have to pay. Now, is this going to cover it? No. But it's a, it's a chip in the wall, so thank you guys.
Yeah, it's a start. It's something.
It's a start.
We expect a lot more, but it's a start.
It's a start, and we will talk about those as well at the end of the episode. And then we also just did for this month for our Damascus patrons our behind the scenes ep. It was 2 hours long. We talked about the usual stuff and then some details on my hospital visit. So if that sounds interesting to you, go Damascus or go listen to it because it is now live. But we'll talk about all of that and more psych at the end. But for now, let's get into the episode. What is going on in Call of Duty universe this week? Well, shocker, not too much. Although there is a caveat in that there are some very interesting leaks that I am very excited to talk about relating to Black Ops 6 and more specifically Warzone and how that will function when BO6 integrates. But before that, we got some patch notes. Not anything crazy, but let's get into them. They've broken these into Warzone and multiplayer. Starting with multiplayer, there was a patch on Tuesday the 9th.
Bug fixes.
And it was small. And it was some bug fixes. And that was it. Yep. That was it. And there's literally nothing worth talking about.
Yeah,
so they keep fixing bugs. That's good. Okay. And now going to Warzone.
Now we're on Warzone.
What did they change? Once again on Tuesday, let's see. Tac sprint boots. Increase the number of boots that spawn in bunkers to 3, up from 1. So 1 set of boots will be in the chest in the treasury room, and 2 sets of boots will be in the first bunker room before the treasury room. So there used to be, I guess, guaranteed 1. Now there are guaranteed 3. This is a good thing, obviously. I think this should, if possible, dynamically change depending on the team size. However, this is still better than just 1. Because if I'm playing quads, this is kind of annoying, number 1. And then also, if I'm playing like solos and I open a bunker, I guess it doesn't really matter, but like if I was a solos player and I saw an opened bunker, I'd go in there. There's 2 more sets of boots, probably.
Yeah, can you stow boots? I assume you can. You can't? I was going to say, I would just stow them in grief and just go drop them somewhere.
Grief people?
Yeah, so nobody can get them if I was playing solos. That'd be the strat for sure.
That would be a good
That's
move,
unfortunate. You can't stow them,
I'm almost sure you can't. I'm not positive, but I'm almost positive you can.
I've never tried to do it, so I wouldn't know, but...
Yeah, so...
Do some griefing if you can, though, guys.
If you can, absolutely do that. That's the play for sure. But yeah, it's just weird that it's like 3 in solos also, but it's not a big deal, although that would change a little bit how I would play solos or even duos, honestly, just having that information. Another thing, by the way, because tax sprint boots are going to come up later in this episode. So when we get there, we'll get there. But, these are not as popular or impactful as I thought they were going to be, and the community thought they were going to be. And it's actually not that surprising. I'm more surprised I didn't think of this, but a couple people we play with don't even want to pick them up because they're on controller and they use auto tack. So if you have tack sprint boots on, that means you have infinite tactical sprint. So your sprint out time is just always going to be really slow if you're using auto tack and it's infinite. And a lot of people on controller who play Warzone do use auto tack. So they're like, I don't want it. It's too, it's like, it makes it too awkward to push, buildings and stuff.
Really?
Similarly to, though not quite the same, as a controller user being averse to shotguns or hip fire builds for the same reason that auto tack kind of messes it up. I don't remember. I know H said that. He's like, I don't want them.
H is an idiot. I've never heard anybody
Jake
say that.
Also doesn't like them.
I didn't think Jake even runs auto tack sprint, does he?
I don't know.
I don't think
maybe
he does.
not Jake,
know.
but I thought
I haven't
there was
heard any of
person
them say
we
that.
Played with.
I don't know.
Interesting.
I think they're impactful. I mean, you're not gonna yeah, I don't really fully understand it since I haven't played as much Warzone on controller like you've tried, so I don't really get it exactly. But yeah. I mean, they're good. It's not like people aren't taking them. They're exactly.
Yeah, I think most people do run them. Yeah.
Yeah, of course. I think nobody's gonna leave them. It's definitely impactful. It's just you don't really so much notice when other people have them. It's not like you're going to notice it in a fight in most situations. It's just really nice to have for yourself. Just you press the sprint button and you never have to worry about it again. Which even with 120 players on Urzikstan right now, you got to do a lot of running. Because there aren't enough balloons, and you still don't find people in mid-game, so you got to be zooming around quite a bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like them a lot. I think they're great. And I think they need to be a little bit more common, so I like this change.
Yeah, well, they will get more common probably, but we'll get into that. But anyway, I do like this change, yeah. I think the thing that people also sleep on with the tack sprint boots is obviously the big thing, the flashy thing, is that you get infinite tactical sprint. But a lot of people don't know this. When they originally came out or whatever, in the patch notes for them, they also increase your base movement speed by 5% or something. And that's also actually pretty noticeable. Even if you tack sprint 5% faster, but your base movement speed is also 5% faster. So your ADS strafe speed's faster. It's the same as the lightweight perk, basically. You ADS strafe faster, you walk faster, you can't regular sprint, I guess, but that's kind of a big deal. Just moving a little quicker in a gunfight, especially if you have the short barrel super-y, you are giga omega zooming with tack sprint boots. Because you already have 7.5 meters per second movement speed when you're tack sprinting. Multiply that by 1.05. And then also, if you're ADS strafing with that in a gunfight, you're moving 5% faster. And that's pretty fast already. That's a really cool part of them as well. And it's something you probably won't notice you move faster until you try to pay attention. But if you do pay attention, it is actually quite noticeable that you're moving faster. That's what I like, actually, almost more about them on Urzikstan. They're both, obviously, infinite tack sprint's good too, but, I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway, I just thought I would point that out for those of you who may have missed it. You should use them. So, anyway. And then that was pretty much it. The Core 45, there was an exploit allowing a faster fire rate than intended using non-standard input methods. I don't know what a non-standard input method is, but
is that like
okay.
What is that weird type of aiming, like gyro aim? What did they add like last year or 2 years ago? I wonder if it's related to like one of those input methods. I don't know. I don't know how any of that works, but I know there's some weird things you can use.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know, but anyway.
Change.
Yeah, W change. So, and then besides that, there's one other thing before we get to this tweet. If you can pull up that video, Tanner, from JGod, I've seen a number of Twitter videos going around about the new Jack Gunslinger for the Basilisk. So it's one of the aftermarket parts we knew was coming for the revolver. And it makes it, I think, 8 rounds, and it makes the fire rate really fast. I saw another video on Twitter, which I wish I could find right now, but I can't, where the guy is using them akimbo. And it looks pretty wild, actually, because you fire real quick. So here's JGod using just one, but you can just look at the fire rate right here. It's pretty nuts. So, like, I saw another video where, yeah, again, the guy was using a akimbo, hip firing. And with that fire rate, 16 rounds just blasting out of them. I don't know if this is good or not.
I think it's terrible. That's what I read. That like the actual damage is really, really bad. But the test I saw was in akimbo, and it took a lot of rounds to kill somebody. So
yeah,
I feel like it's not, because if this was at all meta, it would be like a broken meta probably, and everyone would be running it. I haven't seen anything outside of that tweet though.
That seems to be the case because apparently you can't use snake shots with this aftermarket part. So that kind of kills it, basically. So I don't know. Just thought I'd point that out. It's always fun looking at the new aftermarket parts because they're either really broken or really terrible. Very seldom are they just like pretty good. There have been a couple actually, but for the most part, not so. And that seems to be the case here once again. But for multiplayer, that akimbo one, even without snake shots, I bet is nasty and griefing and annoying. So anyway, other than that, we got one other tweet yesterday from COD Updates. Our teams have been investigating increased reports of lag and or packet burst issues as indicated on the in-game widget. While some mitigations have already been deployed, we remain committed to continued improvement. Stay tuned for further updates. So they've acknowledged server issues, which have been getting precipitously worse, it sounds like, over the past 6 weeks or so. And now they've actually addressed that it's happening. However, they have certainly not fixed the issue yet. It is still pretty bad. The servers.
Yeah, and I'm not sure they ever will,
is what I mean.
Really. Because, it got immediately worse when they increased the player count by 20 players, so.
Yeah.
And we talked about that last year when they made some changes, too, to the player count. It's like they can't handle the higher amount of players anymore. I don't know what changed, because it worked fine in Warzone 1, and it just doesn't now, so I don't
I think they just like reduce the number of servers they rent or use or something. Because I'm with you. It's not like, I don't know what else could have happened, but that stuff is just so hidden from us.
Yeah,
it's weird because, I mean, we follow all the like, obviously the official, channels from Call of Duty, but they don't tell us anything. But we also follow all the like leakers and insiders and content creators and people who kind of are in the know about stuff. And they never talk about server infrastructure ever. Like we've been doing this podcast for 5 years and I have never seen any information on, Activision just rented 12 more servers in these areas, or Activision shut down 12 more servers. That information never gets like leaked or talked about ever. So we have no idea what's happened, but something has for sure. Yeah. I don't know what, but it's not looking great. Although the fact that they've acknowledged it does imply they will be attempting to fix it. Whether they'll be successful obviously remains to be seen. But
that is that does give me some hope too that they say it now for sure, because like people have been complaining about it since the increase of player count, and even before, but more than not the increased player count. And so the fact they comment on it now, quite a bit later, makes me think they are like actually making changes and like have some ideas as to what the issues would be or something, and they're actually going to work on it and maybe fix them. Because otherwise it would have been something like day one of the season when it was lagging like crazy every server. We're like, oh yeah, 120 players, here we go, lagging like crazy. They would have said something like day one, like, oh yeah, we noticed the servers are lagging, we're looking into it, but they didn't on purpose. They knew it was happening.
Right. Yeah. So yeah, I'm not actually too worried about it, especially with BO6 coming out in the integration. Like, server stability needs to be good once that happens, or as good as they can make it, because people will, no matter how cool Omni movement is or whatever, if I'm getting disconnected from every game or I have 2000 milliseconds of ping, I'm not playing. Like, and they know that. So they're going to have to figure it out. And that's going to be priority number one. Because, again, it doesn't matter how unbalanced the guns are, or how cool Omni movement is, or how fun it is to be back on Verdansk or not, whatever. If I can't play the game, if I get disconnected from the server, they know that too. And they won't sell microtransactions if I can't play. So they will fix it. It's just a matter of when. Because if we have to wait till BO6 comes out, or integrates, that's going to be not great. But who knows? We'll see. Yeah. But we'll keep you guys posted. They at least said something, so that is something. So anyway,
they said something else.
And then yeah, that's pretty much it for news, or excuse me, patches and changes that already happened. And just, you know, as I say every week lately, don't expect much next week. The week after, we are getting a new season, so you can expect something then. Hopefully we have a roadmap by next week, although I think we will, actually, also. So we'll at least learn what we're getting for season 5.
Yeah, because the update, I think, is slated for July 23rd, Tuesday, July 23rd, I believe, or maybe July 24th. But I think it was more the 23rd. So by next Thursday pod, we should at least have a blog post, if nothing else. Some of that info doesn't come out until Fridays now. I mean, this will be a full season, so we maybe would get a roadmap next week. Right.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking as well. So we'll have something then, and then we will have the patch notes the following week, and then after that, it's going to be just a lot of weeks like this again, in terms of patches and changes and stuff. But that's okay, and we'll get there. So now we're moving on to news and upcoming changes. We've got some more business data. Yeah. This is actually super interesting. Tell us about it.
This is maybe the most surprising thing in regards to this we talked about lately. Yeah. So according to Charlie Intel, they get this data from Circana. Modern Warfare 3 was the best-selling game on PlayStation and Xbox in the month of May in the US. That's wild. The fact that COD multiplayer, 9 months after release, is the best-selling game on PlayStation and Xbox is really, really wild. It really goes to show you they've done a good job this year.
Just the most. Yeah, it's not just the most played; it's the most sold in May. Yeah. So people are buying the game. 9 months out. That is an insane statistic, and it's really surprising.
Yeah. I would love to see the MW2 sales last year in May or June compared to MW3 sales this year. But it's that's crazy. This is more shocking to me than it being like the top 3 most played games on, or like like top 10 on Steam even. That one was shocking, but the number 1 most sold, yikes. That's crazy.
PlayStation and Xbox, dude. That's really insane. And
are we back?
I have a little black helicopters about this. Well, people always, so Tanner and I and most of our community don't play much ranked multiplayer or multiplayer at all for that matter. Once we have our camos and stuff, at this point in the life cycle, I should say, we don't play much multiplayer. But every single time we look in the direction of ranked multiplayer, inundated with, it's infested with cheaters. There are cheaters everywhere. So I wonder what proportion of these sales are kids who have been cheating in ranked multiplayer or just multiplayer in general, gotten banned, and then bought another box to continue cheating. And that's why there are so many sales, because this game is more fun. So they're willing to buy more boxes after getting permabanned than they would have been for like MW 2, so that they can continue cheating or maybe stop cheating because they're afraid of getting banned again. But you got them to buy the box twice. Because who is buying? It's because it's hard for me to believe that many people on 2 platforms are buying COD 9 months after it launched, like for the first time. Like, who are these people? Who is that? Who's doing that?
I've never met a person that buys COD that late. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, if you're a Call of Duty player, you buy it the week it comes out, or you just skip it. You're never buying it, or you buy it like 1 to 3 months after launch, because your friends are like, trust me, dude, this year's different. The game's actually fun. And then you're like, okay, fine, I'll buy it. But it's only been out for like a month or 2. But 9 months later, like, I don't know, man. That's weird. It's weird. I think a lot of these guys are cheaters, dude. Hot take. Could be wrong. But I don't know how.
Yeah, Jakin does make a good point, though. This is console sales, but I don't know. So what? Because you can buy the versions that you get on both, right? Console and PC. I don't know how those bundles work, because I'm like, would that show up as a console sale if they're buying both versions, but maybe for some reason they're going to play on PC? I don't know. But that is true. There wouldn't be many cheater accounts, not nearly as many as on PC, being purchased on console.
That is kind of a good point. But also, there's still a real problem with the, what is it called? Zim?
Cronus.
Isn't there? Cronus.
Yeah, but are they really permabanning people for that anymore? I'm not sure they are. I don't think that it doesn't really seem that way. I think people are still just using it. Because remember when it first happened, they were just giving people like 25 warnings. Please stop. So I don't think they're permabanning for it still, probably. They're petrified to do that. Probably because half the player base would drop off immediately. Especially multiplayer.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I could be wrong. I don't know.
What other games are on this list? Let's see. MLB The Show 24, Sea of Thieves, Helldivers.
Damn.
Yeah, I think Sea of Thieves just had a big update, if I'm not mistaken.
It did. It had like an X pack. Yeah.
Gabe and Ben have been wanting to play it, actually.
It just gets
Elden
boring
Ring,
so
and
fast.
Madden. That's what I told him. I said, Sea of Thieves is literally the best video game you've ever played for the first 5 hours you play it, and then immediately it falls off, and at like 15 hours, you never want to play it again.
Yeah,
I said, but those first 5 hours are crazy fun with your friends.
It is. Yep. Yeah.
Hogwarts Legacy. Jeez. Yeah, this is a pretty trash list. Maybe Absolute's right. It's just because there were no good games in May. But either way, that's still shocking. That's not normal.
Yeah, regardless of
COD.
the reason, it is pretty crazy. But I don't know. It's just, for Call of Duty, like single player games, I get it. Like, Grand Theft Auto 5. That's like, super well regarded, still has a really healthy community. I guess it is multiplayer, but it's like, I don't know. I could see it. But COD in May? There's like not even a holiday. It's May. Like what? I don't know. It's weird. But anyway. So yeah, it's pretty crazy, but not much more to say on that. So now we're getting into some juicy stuff. We have 3 big leaks, I should say. And I want to talk about all of them. The first of which I'm actually the least excited about, Not because this is an unexciting leak, but because the other two are very interesting. So we'll start with the least interesting one. This is from Bob Network UK. He tweeted this on the 7th. So that was on Sunday. And he said, exclusive, unlimited tax sprint to become a perk when BO6 integrates with Warzone in Season 1. So this is not official. This is not confirmation. This is just a leak, to be clear. However, I believe it. It is not that far-fetched at all. And it's not like it wouldn't be feasible to do, especially now that there's a precedent for having unlimited tactical sprint at all.
Yeah.
And this is originally why, if you guys may recall, when we were talking about tac sprint boots, this is what I said. I was like, well, even if it's not a perk, it's kind of cringe that it's just an item, because we would have liked to have seen it become a perk right away in this iteration of Warzone. This is at least a step toward it becoming a perk, because they'll have to like code in the ability for your character to be able to tac sprint unlimitedly. So it was kind of like a stepping stone. That was kind of my silver lining on it. And that seems to be what's being leaked here, which is, when BO6 integrates, we will have unlimited tac sprint as a perk. So it's just not like surprising at all. So I really do believe this leak. The more interesting thing, I think, is where does this go? So there are two questions, I think, here. Number one, if it's going to be a perk when the integration happens, what slot does it go in? Does it go in slot 1, 2, or 3, or 4? There are 3 different slots it could go in.
Yeah.
That's another thing we'll get into. So where is it going to go? And then also, should it even be a perk, or should it just be standard, like commando gloves are standard right now, where you don't have to take a perk at all? You just automatically have it. I would say you should just be able to auto tac sprint forever. Be able to tac sprint forever without a perk. I think having to drop a perk to get it is pretty trash. And then another question I have is, will the perk function like the tac sprint boots, or is the perk going to be merely unlimited tac sprint? Because remember what I was just talking about 10 minutes ago, tac sprint boots give you unlimited tac sprint. They also give you 5% more base movement speed. Would the perk have the base movement speed benefit as well as unlimited tac sprint, or would it be just unlimited tac sprint for the perk? Because that makes the perk way better if you get both rather than just unlimited tac sprint. That makes it way more attractive, and it makes it way more likely for me to take it almost regardless of what slot it's in. So there's still a lot of questions on how this would work, and there are going to be even more when we get into these other leaks. But I think pretty much no matter what, this is good. This is a good thing no matter what, if true, which it seems very likely to be true.
Yeah, it's for sure true. Yeah, I would rather just have it default at that point, honestly.
For sure.
Because I mean, yeah, it could be in a perk category where you're just never going to take it because it's within a perk category that has other perks that end up being a lot better than this. So kind of depends too, like what just the base movement speed is in this game, you know, because even compared to MW3 and MW2, there were substantially different, like just movement speeds in general with your weapons, all of that. So if this game's already fast, which I'm kind of expecting it to be, maybe people are just less likely to run tac sprint boots as well, and they would run, you know, a different perk in that slot. So I don't know. It's really hard to even talk about it without knowing anything about what it would be going up against. But I do know I would rather just have it by default if they're going to do it that way. It's just like a quality of life thing. The only thing that they'd have to do is that gets annoying is how your like gun is up high, and so you it blocks the right of your screen a little bit. So it's kind of nice when tac sprint runs out, because then you kind of have view of that. And obviously there are ways around it. You can stop tac sprinting, you can jump, you can do something, but still.
And settings, I'm sure, will
and
help
then
too.
From what we saw though, remember when we watched the reveal gameplay of BO6, there was some new running animation, so that could be what they're doing now. You get an animation, so it doesn't. You don't like hold the gun up high. It's more like lower and out, so you see things. And if they thought of that and actually did that, that was a great job by them because they thought these things through. And I think that's how it's going to work, honestly. But
that's probably why they did it. Actually, you're probably right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it did look very weird, and we commented on it.
It looks odd, but it's a better gameplay decision. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's what we want. We want things, even if it looks goofy, if it makes the gameplay experience better, I'll take it. That's totally fine. So yeah, we don't know how perks are going to work though in, so like there are going to be a bunch of new perks and a new perk system in BO6 multiplayer. So we're getting the like, there were the 3 categories of player. I don't remember any of their names, but like if you picked perk slot 1, 2, and 3, all the same category, like, you know, Marauder, then you would get a bonus benefit because you stayed all within one perk category across each slot. So that's how multiplayer is going to work. But as far as I understand, that system or those perks, or most of them, are not carrying over to Warzone. It sounds to me like they're just going to have the Warzone perks we have now, and then they're just going to slot tac sprint boots in somewhere as a perk.
Really?
So I think we're still going to have the 4 perks. Yeah. And I think perks 1 and 2 are going to be the same slot. So like interchangeable, and then 3 and 4 are going to be unique. That's my guess, but there's a little monkey wrench in that we're going to get into in a second.
Yeah, I assume
we'll just
we're
get
going
into it now.
I assume we're going full BO6 perks and everything. I thought all that was going to change. And we do have some perk information. And I'm trying to think what it was. If we're getting 3 perks or 4 perks. I think it was it's back to a standard 3 perk, isn't it?
With the wild card system for multiplayer, I think that is what is happening.
That's what it was. So that's what I would expect for Warzone.
Well, yeah, you might be right because, okay, so let's get into the next one now. So Charlie Intel had a tweet, new rumors on potential features for Warzone when BO6 integrates. So this is via Bob Network as well, but Charlie Intel tweeted it. That gives it a lot more credence because Charlie Intel probably already knows this information, but they're not allowed to leak it, but they are allowed to report on other people leaking things they know to be true. So if they tweet about a leak, there is a high likelihood, it is a higher likelihood, I should say, that the leak is accurate because it's very likely Charlie Intel knows this is true. They can't say they know it's true because they'd be breaking an NDA or losing access or something. But if some Tom, Dick, and Harry leak it over there, they're a news Twitter, they're allowed to say, hey, this guy leaked that. Isn't that interesting? And we also know that he has some credibility because there have been leaks also where Charlie Intel's like, I've not heard this at all. This sounds crazy. This is probably not a real leak.
Yeah.
For example, when someone was like, oh, there are going to be giraffes in Verdansk, and you can kill them and butcher their meat, and then it'll count as like a stim in your tactical slot or something. Charlie Intel was like, wait, I have not heard that. That doesn't sound real. That's probably not coming, just to be clear. He's done that before. So again, when he hears a leak and he doesn't say that and he says the opposite, again, it implies he already knows and he's leaking it. So anyway, the point is 2 leaks here from Charlie Intel via Bob Network, very likely to be true. The first one we're going to skip for now. Second one is this. Wildcards will be added to loadouts in Warzone. So this is where the perk discussion about, for example, where tac sprint boots are going to slot in the perk scheme, the create a class scheme for Warzone, gets real messy. And like Tanner was just saying, he's under the assumption we're just getting all the BO6 perks and tac sprint, unlimited tac sprint will be slotted in that way. My original assumption was not that. I just talked about it. But the fact of wildcards being added to Warzone loadouts actually kind of convinces me Tanner is right. because the wild cards, or a lot of the wild cards we know about from leaks for BO6 multiplayer, are you get like an extra perk slot.
Exactly. Yeah.
So
yep. That was my exact thought.
Like folds in too well for, yeah, that just makes me think that we are going to get a bunch of new perks.
Yeah.
That will come from BO6, or they'll just be brand new and they will be exclusive to the new Warzone. That's entirely possible. Also, similar to like Serpentine, we had that was like a Warzone only perk. I could see some Warzone only perks being created, and then a lot of the BO6 ones that are relevant being slotted in. Obviously, it wouldn't be every BO6 perk from multiplayer, but probably a lot of them. And then another thing is, obviously, there are going to be perks we have now that we will have it when the integration
A lot
happens.
of them, yeah, like most of them.
Like Ghost and
and they've added interesting things like Mountaineer. That's not going anywhere either.
Right.
So yeah, I feel like so with the wildcard system, I feel like they'll slightly rebalance the perk categories, and then it will be 3 perks by default, and you'll get a wild card that will be either wild card 1 gives you an extra perk from slot 1 or something, or and then wildcard 2 from slot 2, wildcard 3 get 1 for slot 3, something like that maybe. But they'd have to balance it. They'd have to do a lot of balancing and really think about that, because if you could get like Ghost and High Alert using a wild card, that would be terrible for the game, right? So they really have to make sure they balance it correctly if they're doing it that way. But
it's gonna be hard.
People might not end up running those too, because if there's also a wild card where you can put an extra 2 attachments on your gun, for example, a lot of people might want to run that too. So that is where things could get really interesting, and I actually like the idea of having wild card in Warzone. I think that'd be really fun. I agree
with you. I like it as well, but like you said, it's going to be pretty hard to balance, for sure. And I fear that we will end up with one particular wild card, and it would probably be 2 perks from one category, so an extra perk. That's probably going to be the meta, because there's probably going to be one category where having 2 perks from it is going to be just way too good to pass on, almost no matter what other wild cards there are. So like, yeah, I'd love another 2 attachments on my gun, but I'd also rather have quick fix and tempered at the same time more. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's really hard to pass on that. So they would have to have some bonkers perk balancing, and I don't even know if it's possible to do that, because there are a lot of really good perks. So you can't break up, 7 very competitive perks in 3 categories and have me not take a wild card to get 2 of one of them from the same category. That seems like a very tall order, and I feel like, unfortunately, there's very quickly going to be a cookie cutter meta where everyone runs wild card, bonus perk 2 greed, and everyone runs the same 2 perks in that category. I'm worried about that. It wouldn't be the end of the world, to be clear. If the game is fun, then whatever. We've had, most of the time, Warzone loadouts are cookie cutter anyway, so it wouldn't be like a huge departure from what we're used to. I just wish we would be able to get away from it. And it's possible that we can, if, again, they somehow balance perks in some crazy way that I can't foresee. But also, if they add other wild cards that are really attractive. So like the 2 extra attachments on the gun, we know we're getting that in multiplayer. That could be really good in Warzone, especially depending on the gun. But then they could also add other wild cards that we haven't thought of yet to Warzone that could be equally giga attractive. I don't know what they would be, but another thing they could do is take some things that are perks now and make them wild cards. So instead of tempered being a perk slot 2, there is no tempered perk anymore, but there is a wild card that gives you the effects of tempered. That would be another way they could balance it. They could just take a bunch of the really competitive perks out of the perk slots and make them wild card benefits instead, so that you can only pick one because you can only have one wild card. And that way you wouldn't be able to double dip on really good perks. That could be actually a great way for them to balance it. That would be pretty easy too. Because then the wild card slot could function for some people as just another perk slot, because there are some perks in there, basically.
Yeah.
Or it could be perk greed for lesser perks, because you keep the less attractive perks as actual perks, not wild card benefits instead, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But I wonder what else they could do. I mean, there are a lot of cool things that, you know, if you really sat down and thought about it, you could add as a wild card.
I mean, even if they did like the lethal and tactical ones they've done, it might make it so you can carry 3 lethals instead of 2 when you like refill your ammo. So that'd be pretty dang good too. Just always having it, or even 4 or something like that. Who knows? So those are obvious ones that would probably be in the game. But yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they can come.
So there's
with
a lot they could
ones.
do with that, but I actually do think it would be balanceable, actually, if they just make some perks wild cards. I actually don't think it would be that tall of an order, the more I think about it. But I do wonder what else they could do with wild cards, and what else we could kind of expect. But I am excited to see what we get. So we will obviously keep you guys posted, but this is not surprising to me. And then, by the way, I don't know if you remember, Tanner. Are you guaranteed a wild card in BO6 multiplayer, or can you opt to not take it so that you can get an extra attachment or something?
I thought you were guaranteed a wild card.
I think you are guaranteed
in
it,
Cold
right?
War. You were guaranteed a wild card. I'm almost
okay. Yeah, you're probably guaranteed it then.
positive. Yeah,
because like in BO4 there were wild cards, but it was a way more pick 10 system. So you would often create a class and just not use any wild cards, because that would be one of your pick 10s. So I was wondering if BO6 multiplayer is going to function like that, but I don't think it will. I think you're guaranteed a wild card, so you will pick something.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Because if you didn't have to pick a wild card, that would also be very interesting, but that would be more pick 10, which I don't think we're getting. So anyway, last leak from the same tweet is this. This is... I think this is going to be a little contentious, but watching like LCQs and stuff makes me like this even more.
yeah.
And here's the leak, honestly. Backpack from Warzone 2 era will be removed when Warzone and BO6 integrate, and the game will go back to the OG Warzone system, meaning you have a dedicated slot for 1 gas mask, 1 kill streak, a stack of every ammo type, and 2 guns and a self-res, and that's all. You can't stow anything, and a field upgrade. You can't stow anything. There's no more stowing.
Yeah.
We're going back, and there's no more staring at or stowing perk packages. There's no more staring at the ground, trying to decide what you want to stow. Counting how many flares are in your backpack, or how many portable decontamination stations you can use to cheese a buy station 2 kilometers outside of the zone to win the World Series of Warzone by opening a buy station that's been closed for 20 minutes. That is hot take. Fantastic. Love it. That was one of the beautiful things about Warzone 1, was there was none of that bullshit. There was no downtime. There was no like, oh, I need to put my attachments on my gun like I'm playing Apex Legends. Mm-hmm. There was no like, oh, do I want the Phoenix kit or do I want 2 shield batteries? None of that horseshit. I'm here to shoot people. I'm not here to count how many field upgrades I can stuff inside of my ass.
Yeah.
I want to just kill a guy, run over him. I have everything I can possibly carry. I don't have to think about it. I don't have to have a big brain to make big brain plays, and I can go on my merry way. For the vast majority of players, I think this is a very good thing. It's casual friendly, it's more uptime, and it is simpler. and you can just kill a guy, run over him. Your ammo picks up automatically. Hopefully, I hope to God, hopefully
it works.
Should be easier to code if there's no backpack. So hopefully it works. It won't though for the first week at least. Sick. And then, we're chilling. We're big chilling. I think this is a great change for the vast majority of people. The downside though, which I will concede, is this does lower the skill gap. It just does. As much as it annoys me, as much as I don't do it, even though I should, and as kind of cringe it is to watch custom lobbies endgame when people are again throwing 4 portable decontamination stations in a row on a rooftop that's been in gas for like actually 90 seconds. As cringe as that is, it is a big skill gap. And we have seen some crazy plays from smart players who are able to utilize the backpack system and prioritizing what to stow and not stow really well. And that skill gap will be gone. So I think for the really good players or the maybe pro, I don't know how pros would feel about it actually, because it's
like
probably
the backpack
annoying
system
for them. Yeah, it's probably just annoying to deal with. Then, you know, it's again less of a skill gap, but I think ultimately worth it. And I'm glad to see it gone, honestly.
Yeah, here's the thing though. Is it less of a skill gap if it's gone? Because I mean, if you only have one decision of like a field upgrade to carry and you make the wrong decision because you can't just take both of them because you can just stuff them in your ass, is that less of a skill gap? I don't really know if it is. I mean, if I find 5 PDSs and I'm playing LCQ, I'm simply taking all 5 PDSs. That's not a skill gap. I'm just going to stuff them all up there and just sit in the gas and keep throwing them down and hope I'm the last guy alive. If you have to choose between taking a utility box for your team, a portable buy station, a PDS, I almost feel like that might be more of a skill gap, actually. It doesn't create the actual plays that you're talking about, but a lot of those plays would be made with or without the backpack system, like Shifty or Soka, whoever's play that was, with like the PDS driving around with it on. They had one PDS, they made that play with it. They could have done that without the backpack system too. So
that's true.
I don't know. I'm not really sure. Either way, it just leads to way too much spam and BS when you have a backpack system and can just stuff it full of items. And it doesn't belong in a game like this. This will like single-handedly change the way Warzone is played again, more than having wildcards and more than having tax sprint boots, because it's going back to it's going to drastically change the pace of Warzone more than anything. Yeah, it's just too much cheese, too hard to balance. They've never done it correctly. It's also been filled with bugs since the release of it. It's good now. It's in working order at least, but Infinity Ward couldn't ever figure out how to make it work in the year they were in charge. But yeah, I would love for it to just be gone. Because it's like even when you're the person using it, it works out well for you. You kill a guy. It's like, okay, he has a utility box, he has a portable buy, he has a PDS. I'm going to sit there, stare at them all, and I'm going to stow them. Oh, I found a kill streak, I'm going to stow that. I found another kill streak, I'm going to stow that. It's just a waste of time. You only do that because you're forced to do it, because that's the way the game is designed now. I would love to just run over, pick up ammo like in Warzone 1 and just scoot. You see, oh, there's a UAV, I'm picking up the UAV, I'm gone. It speeds up the pace of the game and it removes the cheese. So I hate the backpack system. I always have. It was a terrible addition to the game. And once again, Infinity Ward is the worst development studio under the Activision umbrella, and we will be having a terrible, terrible time come 2026 when Infinity Ward is back in control again. That's
of course true.
So
and unfortunately, so hopefully there's an act of domestic terror.
I mean, dude, like last night,
unrelated to what you were just saying, but go ahead.
Last night I was playing Ranked Resurgence, and I had 4 kill streaks because it was when I was playing with those randoms, and we would do 2 contracts, go around, wipe everyone. We'd have so much money. You can buy bunker busters, by the way. I swear somebody said you can't buy them, but you can.
We weren't sure. That's what we were saying. Yeah.
So I bought a bunker buster, a mortar, and an airstrike. And against the last team, when it's like one circle, what do? I call them all in, and I get 2 downs. My other teammate kills somebody else. There's no skill gap to that. I just simply went to a buy station and had money, so I stuffed my bag full of kill streaks. That's not a skill gap. It's stupid. And they had no chance. There was nowhere they could do because I bunker busted the one building, I mortared the one building, and I precision airstriked a little bit over. It's just easy and stupid.
Yeah. I mean, I agree with you. I think so. This doesn't really matter, but you could argue that is a skill gap because you had the foresight to go to a buy station, which was potentially risky to do because you were sitting on a bunch of money to buy those streaks to stuff in your butt to use in a critical situation. There are a lot of players who would just panic and not do that or not even think to do that. I think there is some skill gap there. It's not like gunny FPS skill gap, but it's like game sense, awareness, tactical skill gap, potentially. But like you were saying, there is also a skill gap to having far more limited options because you can only store one of each thing. You have to pick what thing is going to be best. That's also a tactical skill gap decision, like you were saying. That's a fair point. So we could argue about whether or not the backpack system is ultimately a higher or lower skill gap. I think there are valid points on both sides because you did make a good argument, but it doesn't really matter because what's better for the game and the players? It's not having the backpack system. It's just like you were saying, it increases the pace tremendously. And like you said, I totally agree. I think that is going to be actually more impactful than any other thing we could possibly get is if no one is wasting their time staring at the ground, picking stuff up or thinking about what to pick up, everyone's moving way more. And that makes the game way more fun. And that is one of the big things I think that people miss about Warzone 1 that they probably wouldn't be able to articulate right away or understand is that the pacing was so much faster because there was so much less decision making you had to do. There was none. Yeah. It was like, because you couldn't carry a bunch of stuff. You had no backpack.
Yeah, so, remember just how fast Caldera was, dude? You'd wipe a squad, you would just run over their body. You'd see a floating satchel, you'd grab the satchel, you'd see a floating streak, you'd grab it. It wasn't all inside of each other. Like it still is in this game right now. The loot is still inside of each other. You got to like sit there and try to pick up a gas mask while you're also picking up plates instead. It's a disaster. It's better than it was last year still, but... yeah, you know, if all that comes back, God, it speeds up the game a lot more than I think people realize unless you really sit down and think about it.
Yeah, for sure. You're absolutely right. So this is a really good decision. I'm really glad they're getting back to their roots. And they're just peeling away all the Infinity Ward influence and making the game really fun again before Infinity Ward dive bombs in 2026 with another nuclear holocaust of terrible features that Activision's going to have to spend another 2.5 years fixing or just outright removing because they were bad ideas. And then we're going to have to deal with that. But until then, we're going to have a great game, it sounds like. And I actually wrote this down, but you already talked about it. So did Absolute in chat. Another thing taking the backpacks out would do is provide way less streak spam. That is so true. And I am so pleased with that. I am still of the opinion, maybe, that there should not be kill streaks at all in Warzone. That maybe. I'd have to think about it more.
I don't think so. Yeah,
I'd have to do a little think about it more. But I think, honestly, what I would want for kill streaks is that they do damage to anyone and everyone. You and your teammates and enemies. I think that plus not having a backpack system would be actually, if I'm being serious, that's probably the best solution. But regardless of that, that's just an aside. There's going to be way less streak spam without a backpack. Because like you were just saying, that's what good players do. It's like, okay, there are 4 teams left. I'm playing Resurgence. I'm on Prison Roof, and we have a portable buy up here. And I have $800,000. and a backpack. Okay, circles rotating off the roof, don't care. I'm buying, like you did, a bunker buster, a mortar, and a precision. I win now. Whereas if you didn't have a backpack, you'd have to pick one and then either use it immediately and then buy another one before that buy station's in gas, or you would have to just pick what you think is going to be best and then get on with your life. That is going to be so much better. And then that team that you basically free killed because the backpack system, because of the backpack system, they would have a chance instead. But you would still have an advantage because you would have been able to call 1 kill streak. So you should be rewarded. You would be, but it wouldn't be like a joke. Like okay, cool. This guy, like, imagine that guy's perspective. You don't need to because you've been in this situation. I have to rotate in, and I just got 3 nodies in a row. And my whole screen is violently shaking. I can't hear anything. There's gas from the bunker buster now. I'm pulling my gas mask down while his teammates are mag dumping me while jumping through the wall with climber boots on, because that's an automatic thing you get now.
Yeah.
Because they can't take damage from their teammates' kill streak who just called 3 streaks in on me at the same time. That's not fun. That's not fun. It's not skillful. There's no counterplay. There's nothing that guy could have done or his team. They were guaranteed dead. And it's just because of the backpack system, actually.
Yeah.
So, like, yeah, it's just like, even if there was some skill to you, like, thinking to do that, having things with no counterplay whatsoever, not fun. So anyway, I think for many, many reasons, like we've talked about, this is like the best leak I've heard about the integration so far. The backpack being gone. Let's stop.
Yeah.
We tried hard, guys. By the way, Activision, we tried hard. We tried 8 different iterations of the backpack. MW2 came out, and then there was backpacks, and then there were 3 sizes of backpacks, but you couldn't loot the same.
Oh my God, I
as your
forgot there
teammate
were
at the
different
same
sizes
time.
of them.
Yep.
Oh my God.
So you'd kill a guy, and he would drop a backpack, and then you would be able to like sift through it like Tarkov, except only one person could look through it at a time. So you'd have to actually take turns running people's pockets, tremendously slow. And then they could drop a backpack if they had like a larger one, like the medium or large one that had extra slots. Insane. One of which gave you a 3rd weapon slot, which was a cute idea, but it just doesn't work in Warzone. It just doesn't.
Yeah.
But then if you picked up one of the bigger backpacks, you were stuck with it. You couldn't drop it, like for your teammate or something. You just couldn't do that. It was just a disaster. And then they got rid of that, and then it didn't work, and then everything dropped. And it was all bad. It was all bad. And then it got progressively better. It's playable now, like you said. But we're done. We tried. That's what I'm saying. We tried hard. We tried all of it. And it doesn't work. It's not for Warzone. Doesn't work for Warzone.
They did try. They tried.
Yeah.
They did a really bad job, but they tried. Well, Infinity Ward did a really bad job.
Infinity Ward did a really bad job.
Raven and Sledgehammer they made it pretty good. As good as it can be.
Yes, they did. Yeah. So.
L Infinity Ward.
L Infinity Ward. W leaks, though. All 3 of those leaks are good. And I'm excited about all of them.
Yeah.
I would say.
Yeah, I agree. So, and by the way, that first one too, I just screenshotted that because that's the tweet I had favorited. But Charlie Intel tweeted about that too. So the tac sprint boots thing, that is for sure coming. So, because yeah, like he was talking about there are certain things, there are rumors that start going around, and you'll see it from some random leaker, and not too many other people pick it up or mention it. But when Charlie Intel talks about it and say, like, it's a new rumor, it's a new leak, it's certainly going to be true. So, yeah, tac sprint boots coming in some form in Warzone next year. We're getting that, and then backpack system be removed, wildcards. Yeah, I'm expecting a full... I wish we would just get rid of MW2 guns, honestly. We're not going to, but I would love if we just had MW3 guns and BO6 guns. I would be down for just the new guns, honestly, but they're not going to do that. But just get the MW2 guns and all of its attachments out of the game. It's just clutter. We don't need it. It makes it too long to look through everything. So that's going to be interesting, too, when we get this integration, of Warzone. Because that's something they talked about towards the end of Warzone 1, actually, is they talked about how it became too filled with clutter. And literally, it will be the exact same thing in BO6 because it will have been the third game. So it's going to be really interesting to see what they did because they claimed that was a mistake, filling it with too much junk. So, hey, I've got an idea. Get rid of everything MW2. Nobody liked that game. Get rid of every gun, every attachment. Get them out of there. Gone. Even the optics, just get them out of there. We don't need them.
Here's a question.
Just more junk.
We also had strongholds once upon a time, and they got rid of those. Insane they added them. Finally, they removed them. We still have black sites, though. I wonder if those are going to stick around.
Yeah, we still have black sites, and we still have the stronghold event. I like the stronghold event how it is. It's not real common.
No NPCs, yeah.
Yeah, but it's still like a stronghold and a way to get your loadout is what I'm saying. But yeah, black site has the actual AI. Yeah, those need to just go too. I mean, especially with the way they do bunkers and everything now. Like, you get all this good stuff in a bunker for finding a random key card and opening it. Why would I do more work and have to kill a juggernaut to get far less loot in a black site? They don't even make sense right now.
Yeah.
Sure, sometimes you get something good out of there, but not usually.
Yeah.
Let's stop.
So,
yeah.
Let's just stop. But anyways. So yeah, that is pretty much it for this week. So yeah, as I said, not too much on the patch notes or changes front. But again, next week we can expect almost certainly to get a blog post and or roadmap detailing what we will be getting on the launch of season 5. Now, I am excited about that, and I am curious what we'll be getting, but let me be super clear. This is not going to be the best season MW3 has ever had. Season 5 is not going to be a huge transformative content dump of stuff. We would have heard something by now, and we have not. So we're going to get some new guns that may or may not be cool. Hopefully we get a shift in the meta to where we get a fun or a couple fun long range, fully automatic weapons, because we've had since MW3's launch in Warzone, probably a total cumulative 3 weeks of fun long range, full auto metas, in total, across multiple guns. So it would be great to have that happen. A good new gun or new balance that makes an existing gun very good or fun, whatever. Like the DG58 when that was meta, I would say that was like a good long range full auto meta. But how long did that last? So hopefully that changes things. And then I don't know what else to expect with season 5, but it's not going to be too much in terms of content. I'm expecting a meta shift, maybe a different SMG meta as well, but whoop-de-doo. I'm far more concerned with the long-range meta, and we'll see if that actually changes. And then beyond that, I would expect not really anything to change with the map of Urzikstan.
Superstore.
Probably
Superstore
nothing
supposed to
change.
come.
Oh, Superstore, supposedly. So maybe we'll be getting that. I don't know if we'd get it on launch or like Season 5 Reloaded or something. So that's going to be one thing. Even that's not going to be that big of a deal, though. I think the biggest thing, unfortunately, well, depending on your preference, I think the biggest thing, or the thing that they will be giving the most attention to, is going to be something related to BO6 and a launch event or a lore event or something like that. Or at least laying the groundwork for it. So like maybe they'll open more bunkers on Urzikstan, and then, when Season 5 Reloaded happens, in the bunkers, there's going to be a hologram, and then Woods is going to like put out a cigar in your eye, and then you get a calling card. And then when Season 6 comes out, there's going to be the reveal event where everyone's on the same team and you shoot rockets at a helicopter or something. That's like what I'm mostly expecting. That's like I think going to be the biggest thing. Maybe not for season 5, although I think they're going to again start laying the groundwork.
Well, yeah.
But it might be a little too early for
because COD Next is going to be held during season 5, so there will for sure be something.
Oh, okay. Then yeah. I think that's going to be the big thing that they're spending the most time working on. So if you're expecting a ton of like substantive map changes or something crazy, or like something akin to downtown blowing up like we got in Verdansk, think again, Jack. I don't think we're getting something like that. So we'll see though. But anyways, we'll keep you guys posted. We'll know more next week. And now we have some announcements to get into. So before we get into these ones here, I will also add, before I forget, on Saturday, as we mentioned in the schedule, we're going to be starting a Resurgence POI tier list pod episode. It's probably going to be a little two-parter, but we're going to start at the start with the first Resurgence map we've ever had, which is also the current one, I guess, which is Rebirth Island. So that'll be fun and exciting. And then eventually we're going to rank all the POIs. We've done this before for big maps. And we've done this before for weapon metas as well. And you guys seem to enjoy those episodes a lot. And if you did, you'll enjoy this one on Saturday. And it's probably going to be a two-parter. So we'll do part 1 Saturday of the Resurgence POIs. Part 2, probably the next Saturday. Not guaranteed. We'll let you guys know. But it will be guaranteed that this Saturday, that's what we're doing. So be here for that. Be here live. It'll be both fun and also exciting. Now, with that said, we got some new patrons. We didn't announce we were out last week, obviously. So we have 2 weeks worth of patrons to get to. And there were a lot. You guys. New patrons. All of you need to join the Discord, by the way, because not many new names in Discord, but a lot of new patrons. Weird. Join the Discord. There are links everywhere. You know who you are because I'm going to name you now. Welcome to our new gold patrons. Jason F, Max B, Landon spelled wrong C, Cameron also spelled wrong S, Vince B, and George or Jorge.
Yeah, George or Jorge. One of those two.
Yeah. Jorge. That's, I would say Georgie. Jorge, probably.
I would say Jorge, but you were born and raised in Southern California. So it kind of depends. Most people are going to see that and think, well, first of all, they're going to say, what is that name? But I think people would assume George, yeah. Little Georgie.
So Georgie and all the rest of you guys, welcome to the Patreon, and thank you very much. We also got a new platinum patron who's better than all of you, Tyler T. Let's absolutely go. Might be related to someone we are ambivalent about. This is very interesting. I don't want to dox him, so I'm not going to say any more. But Tyler, you know what we're talking about. And if you do have a relative that we've talked about before, let us know, because we would love the inside scoop on that mind. Surely. So Tyler, welcome aboard, buddy. Our newest platinum patron. Thank you. And a better person than you, there are many. Here are 3 of them. Our new Damascus patrons, Bjorn again. Bjorn again. Okay.
Oh, he got your ass, man. It was
Bjorn.
Yeah.
I knew it was Bjorn, but yeah, he got me. So, okay, Bjorn, welcome back, buddy. We can unlock the child pen for you now if you want. I didn't delete it. I just took away your access.
So. He won't listen to this anyways, so he'll never.
He doesn't listen to episodes, so it doesn't matter. Anyway, Bjorn, welcome back. Thank you, buddy. Benny as well. Our newest Damascus patron, and Damon F upgrading to Damascus as well. An absolute god king, and Chad. Hold on, actually. Okay, you wrote it down good. Welcome aboard, boys. Bjorn, Benny, Damon. Thank you, kings. And we also, most importantly, got some new annual Damascus patrons. The first person, your name is literally an ellipse. It's 3 dots. So I had to open the email to see who this was. So I don't know if you just don't want us to say your name at all, but too bad. I've got your email. I will be reading it. Trevor D, upgrading from gold to annual.
Wow, that's a big Chad move.
Biggest jump you can take. Yeah.
Yeah.
Quite the leap.
Yep.
Quite the leap.
Wouldn't it be so
Trevor,
funny is if
aboard,
next week we're announcing him going from annual Damascus to annual Obsidian because there's one
that
slot
would be
left.
hilarious
God,
and crazy. Yeah.
Oh my
Wow.
God, dude. I'm laughing thinking about it. That'd be so funny if he did that. God dang, that'd be good. That'd be a good joke,
good.
Trevor.
He'd really get us. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That would, I'd get so angry if he did that. Made me do another announcement.
Patrons. Yeah.
Dang it. Trevor, welcome aboard. Big jump king. We appreciate and love you. And by going annual, you save 12 or 16%, whatever the discount is. I don't know what it is. It's the most we could do. So that's fiscally responsible of you as well. And another fiscally responsible young man, Scary Harry, has also gone annual Damascus. I don't know what he was before.
Smart guy.
He's another smart, fiscally responsible young man. W Scary Harry, thank you, King. You're a god. And we very much appreciate it. And all of our new patrons we appreciate. Mostly the Damascus ones, though, obviously. Patreon.com/the Dropshot. 5 bonus episodes a month, early access to all the public episodes, and ad-free episodes. Totally ad-free. It's a great deal. In addition, don't forget, this month, every single patron is invited formally, cordially, to Rebirth Island Dropshot Patreon Customs for all patrons, not just Damascus patrons, all patrons. Saturday, July 27th at 5 o'clock Pacific time. It's going to be super fun and exciting. Chill Rebirth Island Customs. We're all going to get in Discord together, so make sure you link your accounts. And we are going to kill each other in-game. And it's going to be fun. We haven't done it in a long time. We also need 35 people to show up, so the game lets us start a lobby.
Yeah.
So please show up if you're a patron. And you're going to, again, have to link your accounts to join. So join the Discord, link your accounts. It's very easy. Go to new patron onboarding. I have a guide for you. It takes 30 seconds, maybe. And then it'll change your role, and then you could join the channel you're going to need to join on the day. But we're giving you guys plenty of notice. Ask Stacy to switch shifts with you so you get Saturday night off. It's not hard. And if you have a real job, then this shouldn't matter. You should have the day off anyway because it's a Saturday night because you're gainfully employed and work Monday through Friday. Either way, there's no excuse for anyone to not be there who's a patron. And even if you're not a patron, become one. Easy. Done. And then you can come too. Patreon.com/thedropshot. And you get all the other giga benefits. And you support me and my considerable medical deductible that I'm going to have to pay, which I think is going to be like $2,000, which is not great. So as I mentioned last week, I was hospitalized for 3 nights. So 4 days, I guess. Last week. That's why we missed the episode. Tanner and I just released this morning a behind the scenes episode for our Damascus patrons where we talked about the usual behind the scenes stuff, some ad stuff, some content direction we're going to be going in, some overhauls we've made, how those have been doing, some overhauls we're going to continue to make, changes in the direction of the show, all the usual kind of fun behind the scenes stuff, content creator side. And then capping off the episode, Tanner talked a little bit about how his house is going. Seems to be going well. And then I went into great detail about my whole fun and exciting vacation to the emergency room, which we've gotten some feedback on already. And some of you guys have found it interesting. So whether that sounds interesting to you or not, the first hour and 20 minutes was all normal, fun, interesting behind the scenes stuff. If you just like to take a peek behind the curtain for the show. And then if you're parasocially invested in my life specifically, you would also find the last part interesting. Because I went into great detail in that hospital behind the scenes
hour by hour
story.
rundown.
Yeah, it was.
You should have taken notes there.
Interesting.
Yeah, no, it was. I wanted to hear it. Yeah.
Yeah. I should have taken notes. That would have been a good idea. I actually bought a little 8-pack of notepads.
Really?
Little notepads like this. Because, So like, yeah, I've been calling doctors lately. So they'll call me like, hey, so we're gonna like, is this day good for you for like an appointment or whatever? And I'm like, okay, yeah. Let me get a pen, or like, let me like put you on speaker and like fucking tab out on my phone and write it down. I would really like to have like a little just scratch paper on deck, you know? You guys should do that.
That's smart.
Yeah. So I bought some. Anyway, so didn't talk about that in the behind the scenes, luckily for you guys. And so we do need more patrons again, because I am going to have a considerable medical deductible because my insurance is minimal. And to that effect, you guys can help by donating or joining the Patreon or donating. You probably join the Patreon, so then you get something for it. But if you really want to help, you can also donate on top of that, which many of you have done, and I am very grateful for. We are very grateful for. Unfortunately, Tanner gets half of all of this money.
Let's go.
So this is kind of a disaster. But I will take half of all the donations we're about to talk about anyway. So this first one here was on the 4th of July from Ben G, head mod, friend of the pod, the old dying bitch himself. He says, I hope your asshole feels better soon. I think he was talking about me.
I would imagine that's you, yeah.
And the transaction ID is, just kidding, and the gross amount, 50 big ones, dude.
Wow.
A
Giant
very
ones.
generous amount of money. It's about, what would that be? 1.5% of my medical deductible right there. Well, no, it'd be 25. Just 1.5%.
Yeah.
Or no, not 1.5. More than that or less than that? 1.25?
It's something. It's something.
It's less than 5%, but it's a start. And that's not to diminish a $50 donation. That's a lot of money. Ben, thank you very much. My asshole does feel better now.
A little bit.
And this helped as well. And I appreciate it. That's a lot of money, obviously. And you've donated a lot. And you're the head mod. You're paying us. And you're working for us also, kind of. It's weird. It's a little shady, isn't it?
He's employed. Yeah.
It's a little culty, isn't it? What am I, Charlie Manson? It's possible. Anyway, Ben, thank you very much, dude. Really, for real, very generous. We very much appreciate it. We also got one from Chris W., also known as Boomertown Gaming, I think, right? Mm-hmm. This is that Chris. Yep. Mm-hmm. I should have known that. Also, known as Tanner's slightly less shit brother-in-law, but still a shit one. Another mod who's never modded before, and an Obsidian patron, and a very generous supporter of this program. He is married to a teacher, so that's a significant strike against him. And since you know this person and his mind better than I do, you're going to have to tell us about this, because I don't know what's going on.
You don't know what's going on with what, man?
No. Oh, no, I know. Never mind. I read lube as like lub. I thought he was doing like...
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. So he says lube fund for your ass ventures. And he also donated, like Ben, 50 big ones, dude. Wow. What a god.
And he's making me dinner tonight. Thanks, man.
Is he? What is he making you?
They're making tri-tip, baked potato bar, some broccoli maybe.
Well, hold on. What's a baked potato bar?
Baked potato bar.
Like
they're going to make baked potatoes and they're just going to have a bunch of toppings that you can put on.
Got
it.
it.
They call it a baked potato bar.
Oh, that's a good idea.
That's
a good idea.
I'm a big baked potato guy. Love the
How
old
many
baked potato.
people are they having over to set up a bar?
Oh, they're just putting toppings out. It's nothing crazy. I don't know. 7 maybe?
Interesting.
Or 8, 9.
How good is his tri-tip?
Good. It's good. I haven't had it in a while. No, wait, yeah, I have. I don't know.
Does
All
he do the
tri-tip's
thinly
good.
sliced like Stonefire does?
I think so, yeah. Pretty standard tri-tip.
It's good.
Thickness. You got to get tri-tip thin because that's what keeps it.
I agree.
It's too tough otherwise. You have to get it thinner like that.
Yep.
There's a reason they don't do like cubes of it or something.
Yeah. So that's good. So fantastic. Anyway, Chris, thank you very much, dude, for the lube fund. I appreciate that. And once again, $50. It's a lot of money, dude. So we really appreciate it. And thank you very much, King. We also got one from Jaren. Jaren, of course. Spam that emote in Discord. And I don't know this reference. He said, thanks for the Shaq, Dirty Mike, and the boys.
That's from a movie. That's from a movie that was popular like after we were in high school. I can't think. What movie is that from?
Would it be... is it a Will Ferrell movie?
I think it was. The Other Guys. It's from The Other Guys.
Oh, okay. I was thinking of...
I've seen the movie like one time, 2010.
That's My Boy Blue. What is
that
that movie?
Will Ferrell, Mark Wahlberg, and then a bunch of people that don't matter. Oh, Samuel L. Jackson. There's some people in it, yeah. Dwayne The Rock Johnson, apparently.
So thanks for the movie reference neither of us knew anything about. That was really good and helpful, but psych. But what was good was once again another big fat smacking $50, dude. These are all in USD, by the way. None of the Canadian Monopoly money.
Yeah, none of the fake stuff.
Which is fantastic.
This is real money this time. It's good.
So Jaren, thank you very much. For real, that is appreciated. I hate your note, to be clear. I dislike it. Was it worth getting $50? Probably, but it made it hard. You found a way to sour receiving $50. So congratulations to you for doing that. But $50 is a lot of money, and we really appreciate it. So thank you, Jaren. And then we got Kevin. Kevin A. Who is this in Discord? Because I've seen Kevin's name 100 times.
This is Cocky Kev, I think, isn't it?
This is Cocky Kev.
I'm surprised Kev didn't give you more than this. Bro's in love with you.
Cocky Kev is, well, he's in love with alcohol, and he's a nice drunk.
Is he?
I think that's what happens. Yeah.
Does he?
I think that's what's going on.
You a drinker, Kev?
In Discord. No, I don't think he's a drinker, but I think when he is a drinker, he starts to while on the in the cord.
I think he only gets a couple days on the computer every week because he's an adult and he's married, and his wife is probably like, "Why are you on the internet playing video games? Like, what are you doing?" So he gets real wild on there and starts having some fun. He's just a guy trying to have fun, you know. Can't blame him.
Like a Catholic schoolgirl, you let him out once and he just goes completely bananas.
His wife has to tie him up. That's why he doesn't get much time.
Right.
Got him on a leash.
So Cocky Kev, he says 50 for Raz and $1 for Tanner. You can guess the amount. 51.
Wow.
Big smack in United States dollars. Wow. Incredible. W. And I like that note a lot.
Do you like it?
Will I input it in the spreadsheet that way? It's possible.
Yeah. I might have to have my own personal lawyer reach out to you if I don't get half of that.
Okay, yeah, well, the Dropshot has a considerable legal team, so we will see you in court. Kevin, thank you very much, dude, for the $51, which is more money than anyone's donated so far, by the way, and we appreciate that. We appreciate it more than any other donation we've talked about today, in fact. $1 more, which is an amount. So that's a lot of money, though, for real. Of course, again, $50 is a lot, guys. So for all of you, I really appreciate it. And 51's even more. So, Kevin, very kind of you. And last and most importantly,
a lot better than the other donators, huh?
So much better, yeah. This is from Michael Zanoli, Gamoli, Guacamole, Cannoli. There are other
cannoli
things that
sounds
rhyme
good
with
right now.
Cannoli sounds.
Have you ever had a good cannoli?
Oh yeah,
they're so good, man.
Do you prefer when the inside is cold or when it's like just room temp?
Well, I've really only had it like twice, and I think both times they were cold, so I'm not really sure.
Interesting. Usually it's cold. I prefer it cold as well.
Yeah.
It's a little too much when it's like room temp. I think it needs to be cold.
I could see
how
it being
like
too
thick
much.
it is.
Yeah, because that's gonna thin it out a little bit. It's gonna be a little squishy.
A little more runny. A little kind of So anyway, W cannolis, and W Zanolis as well. Who says colitis and cabinets? That was his note.
W.
That's what I was hospitalized for, and then Tanner talked about cabinets, and has been talking about cabinets. And both of these, turns out, are quite expensive. again, $2,000 medical deductible, and then cabinets, I would imagine, cost an amount of money as well.
More than medical bills, yeah.
Well, which again we talked about in our latest behind the scenes. And with that, we got a donation, and it was not $50. It was United States dollars, but it wasn't 50 of them.
Really?
It was precisely and exactly 10 times that amount, which is an insane amount of money. And for those of you who are getting out your calculators, I'll save you some time.
Yeah, hold on. Let me pull mine out.
500, and we have to play the sax, obviously. So kickstart that sucker. United States dollars. Wow. Incredible.
Zanoli comes through again.
He does it again.
Mike Z, as they call him usually.
One of our biggest donors of all time. Historically, in aggregate and in individual lump sums, he's just donated. Yeah. He's done it before, and he did it again. 500 big giant ones. That's a lot. This is a guy, by the way, whose house was underwater like 2 years ago. I don't know if you remember that.
It was.
But this is a man who had a home, and then it was an underwater home. It wasn't built for underwater, but it became underwater.
Yeah.
And still, he still is an Obsidian patron, and he's still dropping fat bags on us.
Yeah.
Like it's a cash drop.
Do we know what he does?
Drug trafficking? Maybe?
Yeah,
I don't know.
I wonder what he does.
Something.
He's probably a top 5.
I want that job.
He's probably a top 5 donor in Dropshot history at this point. Maybe even top. He might be top 3.
I would say probably top 3 for sure. Yeah. 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 Top 3.
I think so.
Maybe number 2. Honestly.
That's kind of what I'm thinking.
I can't think of. 2 or 3.
Chris has also done a lot.
And
then some of the old people that aren't around anymore would do a lot in a very short period of time.
That's true.
Hard to say.
And then, of course, the Vaping Viking is almost certainly still number 1.
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah.
Surely.
But we're not here to do any of that.
We don't have it all written down. We don't have a spreadsheet of every dollar you've ever donated, and we internally rank you guys on how much we like you based on how much money you spent. We don't do any of that. It'd be crazy.
We would never do something like that. Would be. It's funny you say that because that would actually be insane. He said it like he's joking, but that would actually be insane. I want to do it now. I wish we had done it. I'm not going to go back and do it. But it would have been really funny to then actually shame people for not having donated $7,000 or something.
Yeah.
As if that would be a reasonable thing to expect from some guy who listens to our show. But hey, regardless of all that, Michael Zanoli Cannoli Guacamole, thank you very much, dude. 500
Mike,
bucks, obviously,
thank you, buddy.
That's an insane amount of money.
That's some scratch.
Amount of money.
Some cheddar.
And we really appreciate it, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mike, thank you very much, dude. Seriously.
Yeah, for real. Don't know how to thank you. That's a tremendous amount of money. But
show them
hopefully this suffices.
Your new asshole.
And we really appreciate it. I could do that. DM me on Discord if you're interested in that. I am a whore for $500. Yeah, I will do that. So anyway. All right. That's it. We did not have a higher donation than that. So patreon.com/thedropshot or go to thedropshot.com and smash the donate button. Because I still owe a considerable amount in medical fees, and Tanner still needs to buy cabinets or something. So anyways, thank you guys.
Oh, wait, 2 more things
much.
that happened in YouTube chat. Forgot to thank. Pasta Sounds. Thank you for the YouTube membership a long time ago. About an hour ago, probably. Forgot to thank you for that. Pasta Sounds, appreciate it. And then Boomer Chris with a $1.99 super chat. Noted. We've received the super chat.
Noted. Received. Yeah. Thank you, Chris. Yeah. So thank you again, all you guys. Really appreciate it. Go to the Patreon. All our new patrons, thanks. And again, reminder, Rebirth Island Custom, Saturday, July 27th, 5 Pacific time. Ask for the day off. And thank you all sincerely very much for the donations. It means a lot. And it's cool that you guys care.
Thank you guys.
That's it's nice to get that kind of support. both in, you know, the nice messages, but also money helps too, of course. So I appreciate all of it. All right. With that said, we will see you guys on Saturday for a W tier list episode. It's going to be a lot of fun while we're in this lull before season 5. And then we can kind of ride that wave to season 5 Reloaded, to COD Next, to season 6. And then all of the sudden, we're going to have BO6, baby. And it's going to be a glorious Treyarch full development cycle year of Call of Duty that hopefully Infinity Ward does not find a way to ruin, although they're very good at that. So I'm still a twinge worried. Stay humble.
Stay humble.